Have you ever believed that simply avoiding greasy foods is enough to keep your arteries healthy? Maybe you gave up bacon, skipped fried foods, and cut back on oils, thinking that would protect your heart. I used to believe that too. But after more than 50 years of treating patients with high cholesterol, I discovered something surprising. The real danger doesn't always come from obvious sources like fatty meats or fried snacks. Instead, it hides in the foods we eat every day without a second thought. Foods we think are healthy. White bread at breakfast. Sausages at lunch. A sweet snack in the afternoon. Even a glass of fruit juice in the name of wellness. These are the quiet culprits damaging your blood vessels more than you realize. My name is Dr. Seiichi Tanaka. I'm 85 years old, and I've been a practicing internist for over half a century. I still walk 6 kilometers every morning, see patients 4 times a week, and feel more energized than ever. Not because of medication, but because I removed just 5 harmful foods from my daily life. Today, I want to share what they are, and why quitting them might be the best gift you can give your heart. He always believed he was doing everything right. Mr. Sato Kenta, a man in his early 70s, was the kind of person others admired for his discipline. He walked every morning for 30 minutes, rain or shine. He hadn't smoked in over a decade, and he limited himself to just 1 bottle of shochu a week. Fried foods were off the table. Pork belly. Only a single slice once a year during New Year's. In every way, he lived what people would call a clean, healthy lifestyle. Friends told him, "You'll easily live to 100. And he believed it. Why wouldn't he? He wasn't overweight, didn't eat greasy fast food, and he followed all the health advice he'd heard over the years. He was confident his heart was strong and his cholesterol was under control. But everything changed on a quiet Tuesday morning. He had felt a bit of discomfort in his chest, nothing dramatic, just a strange tightness, like something was pressing gently but persistently. Still, his daughter insisted they go to the hospital. A quick ECG revealed something shocking. Kenta was experiencing early signs of a heart attack. Blood tests showed his LDL cholesterol was at 158, triglycerides at 245, and total cholesterol at 278, numbers far above normal. A CT scan revealed his coronary arteries were 65% blocked. He stared at the doctor, bewildered. "But I don't eat fatty foods," he said. "I've avoided oil, I never touch fried meat." His voice shook as if the numbers didn't make sense. As if his body had betrayed him despite years of loyalty to what he thought was a healthy routine. Let me ask you this. Could it be possible that avoiding obvious fats isn't enough? Could we be harming our arteries not with bacon or French fries, but with foods we've always assumed were safe? The truth is that many foods that seem harmless, or even healthy, can silently damage your blood vessels over time. White bread, breakfast jam, sausage, cookies, and even 100% fruit juice. They're not deep fried. They're not smothered in oil. But they're full of hidden sugars, refined carbs, and inflammatory fats. And when eaten daily, they can quietly push your body toward disaster. Let me explain why. White bread, for instance, is made from refined flour stripped of its fiber and nutrients. It's digested quickly, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar. That spike triggers a surge of insulin, which then converts excess sugar into triglycerides, fat that clings to your artery walls. Over time, this leads to inflammation and damage to the inner lining of your blood vessels. Sausages and deli meats? They're loaded with saturated fat, sodium, and preservatives like sodium nitrite, which can form cancer-causing compounds and contribute to arterial plaque buildup. And that fruit juice. Even when labeled 100% natural, it's essentially concentrated sugar without the fiber to slow absorption, overwhelming your liver and fueling fat production in your bloodstream. Kenta's daily routine, though seemingly balanced, was quietly working against him. Breakfast was 2 slices of white bread with strawberry jam. Lunch always included sausage or ham. Afternoon snacks were crackers or cookies. And to be healthy, he drank a glass of orange juice every morning, freshly squeezed, but still a sugar bomb. He wasn't eating what most people would call junk food. But he was unknowingly feeding the very conditions that led to his health crisis. That night, in the hospital, his 20-year-old granddaughter stood outside the ICU, tears streaming down her face. "Grandpa, you can't die," she whispered. You still have to walk me down the aisle someday." Her words stayed with him all night. He didn't sleep. He kept thinking, "I thought I was healthy. I thought I was safe." The next morning, he asked the doctor just one question: "What do I need to stop eating?" And that's when his transformation began. He quit all 5 foods the doctor recommended: white bread and refined flour products, processed meats like sausages and ham, snacks made with trans fats, fruit juice, and fried foods. The first month was the hardest. Changing habits that had been part of his life for over 70 years didn't come easy. Eating oatmeal instead of toast felt bland. Replacing sausage with a boiled egg felt incomplete. Skipping the cookies he once enjoyed with his beer felt like giving up a comfort he had earned. But Kenta had a reason. A face. A future he didn't want to miss. His granddaughter's wedding. Her first child. 100 small memories he wanted to be there for. So he kept going. One day at a time. By week 2, he noticed his energy improving. Waking up was easier. By month 3, he could climb stairs without losing his breath. By month 6, his blood test results were dramatically better. LDL dropped from 158 to 103, triglycerides fell from 245 to 110, and total cholesterol dropped to 195. A follow-up scan showed improved blood flow in his arteries. And more importantly, he felt better. Lighter, stronger, more alive. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. He came back to the clinic and said something that still gives me goosebumps. "Doctor, I wake up excited every morning. I finally understand how food is either healing me or hurting me." Maybe you've had the same false sense of safety Kenta once had. Maybe you've told yourself, "I don't eat greasy food, so I must be fine." But it's not about what you're eating. It's about what you keep eating without knowing it's slowly causing harm. If Kenta could change after 70 years of doing things one way, so can you. Start small. Maybe tomorrow morning, swap your toast for a bowl of warm oatmeal with cinnamon and nuts. Instead of sausage, try tofu, grilled chicken, or a hard-boiled egg. Sip water or herbal tea instead of orange juice. You don't have to change everything at once. Just one small step at a time. And remember this, it's not about denying yourself joy. It's about giving your body a chance to heal, so you can spend more mornings with the people you love, more birthdays, more laughter. Because the best years might still be ahead of you, if you give your arteries a chance to catch up. 1. White flour products, bread, crackers, donuts. The comfort foods that quietly hurt your arteries. It's the kind of breakfast many of us grew up with. 2 slices of white toast with jam, maybe a bagel with cream cheese, or a donut on the go. They're warm, familiar, and easy. At lunch, it's often a sandwich on soft white bread or a few crackers with soup. These foods feel harmless, comforting, even. But what if I told you that these very foods, your everyday bread, crackers, and donuts, could be quietly damaging your arteries? Most people associate heart health problems with greasy burgers or fried chicken. Few suspect their morning toast or afternoon cookies. But for many of my patients, these refined flour products were the hidden culprit behind high cholesterol, stiff blood vessels, and rising triglyceride levels. You see, white flour is not whole grain. It's been stripped of its fiber-rich bran and nutrient-dense germ, leaving behind a fine powder made almost entirely of starch. This type of starch digests quickly, so quickly that it sends your blood sugar soaring, even faster than some sugary sodas. And when your blood sugar spikes, your pancreas releases a surge of insulin. That insulin turns excess sugar into fat, specifically triglycerides that float in your bloodstream and begin to cling to your artery walls. Over time, this process leads to inflammation, plaque buildup, and a higher risk of heart disease. But it doesn't stop there. Frequent blood sugar spikes from white flour also lead to glycation, a chemical reaction where sugar binds to proteins in your body and forms harmful compounds known as AGEs, advanced glycation end products. These AGEs make your blood vessels stiff and brittle, accelerating atherosclerosis. So while you might think you're avoiding danger by steering clear of fried or fatty foods, your morning toast or those buttery crackers could be sending silent shockwaves through your cardiovascular system. Let me share a real example. A woman named Miko, age 68, came to see me a few years ago. She had never been overweight. She didn't smoke, and she walked every day. But her LDL cholesterol was higher than we liked, and her triglycerides had crept up to 210. She felt tired most mornings, though she couldn't explain why. When we looked at her diet, we discovered a few seemingly small habits. 2 slices of white bread every morning, and a packet of crackers or cookies around 3 p.m. It's just a light snack, she told me. But it was happening every day. We made a few changes. She switched to oatmeal with nuts and cinnamon for breakfast and began snacking on almonds or boiled eggs in the afternoon. Within just 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by nearly 50 points. Her energy returned. She called it a small miracle. You might be wondering, do I have to give up bread forever? Not at all. You just need to choose better bread. Look for 100% whole grain on the label. Be cautious with terms like multigrain or wheat. They often still use refined white flour. Brown rice, barley, oats, and quinoa are great substitutes for white rice or pasta. And when baking, consider using almond flour, oat flour, or whole wheat alternatives. At first, these whole grain foods might taste less exciting. But your taste buds adapt, and in time, you'll start to prefer them. More importantly, your body will thank you. You'll feel fuller longer, avoid energy crashes, and help your arteries stay strong and flexible. Here are a few simple swaps to consider. White bread, 100% whole wheat or sprouted grain bread. Crackers, roasted chickpeas, whole grain crisp breads, or raw veggies. Donuts, oatmeal with fruit, or Greek yogurt with cinnamon and nuts. White rice, brown rice, or quinoa. And remember, even some healthy-looking breads at the store can be misleading. Always check the ingredients. If white or enriched flour is the first item listed, it's not the right choice. Your body isn't asking you for perfection. It's asking for care. A few thoughtful changes can begin to reverse the damage and restore your energy, clarity, and heart health. Because at the end of the day, it's not about saying goodbye to everything you love. It's about saying yes to more mornings with your grandkids, more walks in the sunshine, and more years of living with strength and dignity. Start with one small change. Your arteries are waiting. 2. Processed meats, sausages, ham, bacon. Tasty traditions that damage your heart. You see them at every family brunch and holiday gathering. Crispy bacon strips, sizzling sausages, a few slices of deli ham for a quick sandwich. They're delicious, familiar, and for many people, a comforting part of daily life. You might even think, I don't eat that much of it. Just now and then. But here's the truth that most people don't realize. Even small, regular amounts of processed meat can quietly damage your arteries over time. Let me take you into the story of Mr. Takahashi, a 71-year-old man who thought he was doing everything right. Every morning, he ate what he believed was a balanced breakfast. 1 slice of toast, a fried egg, and 2 pieces of bacon. Simple. Comforting. Not excessive. He avoided junk food, exercised lightly, and kept his weight stable. But at his checkup, we found his LDL cholesterol had climbed from 145 to 178. Even more concerning, his C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation in the blood vessels, was now outside the normal range. He was shocked. But I barely eat out, he told me. I cook at home and I eat clean. When we looked closely at his daily meals, the problem became clear. Ham, sausage, and bacon, though easy and protein-rich, carry 3 dangerous elements when processed. High saturated fat, excessive sodium, and harmful preservatives like sodium nitrite. Each of these on their own can strain your cardiovascular system. But together, they become a triple threat to your arteries. Let me break it down. First, the saturated fat in processed meats is dense and difficult for your body to metabolize. Just 100 grams of sausage can contain 10 to 15 grams of saturated fat, which directly raises LDL cholesterol, the bad kind that clogs arteries. Second, sodium. 1 serving of ham can deliver nearly half your recommended daily salt intake. That much salt raises your blood pressure and stiffens artery walls over time, making your heart work harder with every beat. Third, and perhaps most concerning, are the preservatives. Sodium nitrite, a common ingredient in processed meats, helps keep them pink and fresh-looking. But inside your body, it can convert into nitrosamines, potential cancer-causing compounds that also promote inflammation in the blood vessels. Over time, even a little bacon or sausage here and there can add up to a real risk, especially for seniors whose blood vessels may already be more vulnerable. So what can you do instead? You don't have to give up meat altogether. The key is to shift to natural, unprocessed proteins that nourish without harm. Think boiled or poached eggs, grilled chicken breast, baked fish like salmon, sardines, or mackerel, plant-based proteins like tofu, beans, or lentils. These options are not only heart-friendly, they're full of vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats that help repair and protect your arteries. At first, you might find them bland, especially if you're used to the salty, smoky punch of bacon. But you can bring meals to life with herbs and spices: rosemary, thyme, garlic, basil, lemon, or a splash of olive oil. These don't just add flavor, they support cardiovascular health. And here's something important. Just because a label says low-fat or organic doesn't mean the meat is safe. Processed is processed. Even turkey bacon or natural deli slices can contain high sodium and chemical preservatives. Always read the labels. If you see ingredients like sodium nitrite, sodium erythorbate, or cured meats, it's best to avoid them. Let me circle back to Mr. Takahashi. He was reluctant at first to give up his morning bacon, but he agreed to try grilled chicken and miso soup instead. After 3 months, his LDL dropped significantly, and his blood pressure improved. Even better, he said, I wake up lighter. I don't feel so puffy or tired anymore. It wasn't magic. It was simply the power of removing the wrong thing and giving his body a chance to heal. And that's your invitation today. You don't need to change everything. But maybe tomorrow, instead of sausage with breakfast, you try an egg and avocado. Instead of a ham sandwich, maybe a chickpea salad or grilled fish. Each of these small choices helps your arteries breathe a little easier, and helps your heart beat a little stronger. Because real strength isn't just in what you add to your plate. It's in what you're willing to let go of. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. 3. Trans fats, margarine, shortening, packaged snacks. The invisible threat to your heart. You won't see it. You won't taste it. But it could damage your arteries every single day. It's called trans fat, and it hides in places you wouldn't expect. Store-bought cookies, flaky pastries, margarine, and even low-fat snacks. Many people over 65 grew up thinking margarine was the healthier alternative to butter. It was marketed that way for decades. But science has shown otherwise. Unlike natural fats, trans fats are man-made and created through a process called hydrogenation, which turns vegetable oil into a solid. This process gives food a longer shelf life, but it also wreaks havoc on your heart. Here's what happens inside your body. Trans fats raise your LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower your HDL, good cholesterol, a double blow. They also increase inflammation in your blood vessels, making them more prone to damage, stiffness, and plaque buildup. Over time, this can lead to heart attacks, strokes, and clogged arteries. One of my patients, Mr. Yamada, 73, had no idea trans fats were even in his diet. He didn't eat fried foods or fast food. But every night, with his tea, he had a couple of packaged cookies, just a small treat. Over the years, those little cookies added up. His LDL levels climbed, and his energy plummeted. When we finally looked at the ingredient list, we found it: partially hydrogenated oil, a red flag for trans fat. He switched to a small bowl of fruit and a handful of almonds in the evening. Within 2 months, his cholesterol improved, and he felt less bloated and sluggish. The challenge is that trans fats are sneaky. In the US, food products are allowed to say 0 grams trans fat if they contain less than 0.5 grams per serving. So if you eat multiple servings, you're still consuming it. The real clue? Look at the ingredients. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, put it back. So what can you do? Swap margarine for olive oil or avocado on toast. Bake with butter or coconut oil in moderation instead of shortening. Choose snacks made with whole ingredients, or better yet, make your own. Also, reach for nuts, seeds, or dark chocolate instead of processed desserts. They're satisfying, rich in healthy fats, and supportive of heart health. You don't need to eliminate all indulgences, just choose your indulgence wisely. A homemade cookie with real ingredients is better than a store-bought one full of trans fats and chemicals. Because every bite is a choice, and your heart deserves better than hidden enemies. Make one small change today. Your arteries will thank you tomorrow. 4. Fruit juices and sugary drinks. Why even 100% juice can harm your arteries. It sounds so healthy, doesn't it? A glass of orange juice with breakfast. Apple juice with lunch. A fruit smoothie as a snack. We're told from a young age that fruit is good for us, and that juice is just fruit in a glass. But what if that glass of juice is silently contributing to high triglycerides, weight gain, and even heart disease? Let me be clear, whole fruits are healthy. But juice, even 100% fruit juice, is a different story. Here's why. When you eat an orange, you get fiber. Lots of it. That fiber slows the absorption of natural sugars and helps you feel full. But when you drink juice, the fiber is removed. What's left is a concentrated liquid of fructose or fruit sugar that hits your bloodstream fast. The result? A sudden spike in blood sugar is followed by an insulin surge, and over time, fat stored in your liver and blood vessels. To make a single glass of orange juice, it can take 3 to 4 oranges. That means you're consuming 3 times more sugar than you would by eating just one orange, and none of the filling fiber. Now imagine doing that every morning for years. One of my patients, Mrs. Nakagawa, 68, was proud of her morning habits. She squeezed fresh juice herself every day, believing she was doing something good for her body. But her triglycerides were creeping up, and she couldn't understand why. We cut out the daily juice and replaced it with water and a piece of whole fruit. Within 3 months, her numbers dropped significantly, and she said she felt lighter, with fewer sugar crashes. It's not just juice. Sugar-free drinks and diet sodas may seem like safe alternatives, but many contain artificial sweeteners that can disrupt gut bacteria and trick your brain into craving more sugar. These fake sugars have been linked to insulin resistance and even weight gain. So what's the solution? Start your day with water, unsweetened tea, or herbal infusions. If you want fruit, eat it whole, one piece at a time. Avoid bottled juices, even those labeled no added sugar. Be cautious with smoothies. If you make them, use more vegetables than fruit and avoid adding juice as a base. A simple rule: if you wouldn't eat 3 apples in one sitting, don't drink a glass of juice made from 3 apples. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. You're not depriving yourself by skipping the juice, you're giving your arteries a chance to heal. Your heart doesn't need sweet drinks. It needs stability, balance, and care. And the best drink for that? A glass of water. 5. Fried foods, chicken, tempura, fried potatoes. Crispy on the outside, dangerous on the inside. There's something undeniably satisfying about fried food. The crunch of golden fried chicken, the crisp edge of a tempura shrimp, or the comforting taste of hot French fries. For many of us, these foods are tied to happy memories, weekend dinners, family outings, or meals shared with grandchildren. But as we age, the very foods that once brought joy can begin to take a silent toll on our health, especially on our arteries. Let's start with the science. Fried foods are often cooked in oils heated to high temperatures, sometimes above 350 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, the oil's molecular structure changes, producing toxic compounds like aldehydes and trans fats, even if the oil didn't contain them to begin with. These substances can inflame and damage the inner lining of your blood vessels, making them stiff, narrow, and prone to blockage. That damage doesn't happen overnight, but with regular consumption, it builds up year after year. Then there's the reused oil problem. Many restaurants reuse frying oil multiple times to save money. With each use, the oil breaks down further, increasing the number of harmful substances in your food. That's why even a piece of lightly fried food from your favorite restaurant can be heavier on your heart than you think. One of my patients, Mr. Yamada, 71, loved his weekly routine: fried chicken with the family on Fridays. It was a tradition. But over the years, his cholesterol crept up, and one day he landed in the ER with chest pain. A scan revealed 70% blockage in a major artery. After changing his diet, including replacing fried meals with grilled dishes, his numbers improved, and his energy returned. He still eats with his family on Fridays, but now it's grilled salmon and steamed vegetables, and he says he doesn't miss the fried food at all. So what can you do to protect your heart without giving up all the flavor? Grill, bake, or steam your meals instead of frying. Use an air fryer if you enjoy the texture of crisp food. It gives the crunch without the oil. Choose heart-healthy oils like olive oil and cook on low heat when possible. Add flavor with herbs, lemon, garlic, or spices instead of heavy breading or oil. And here's a simple mindset shift. Instead of asking, "What do I have to give up?" ask, "What can I gain?" More energy. More years with your loved ones. More mornings where climbing stairs isn't a struggle. Fried food may be crispy and golden on the outside, but the danger it poses inside your arteries is very real. The good news? You can still enjoy delicious meals without sacrificing your health. Your heart is working hard for you. Let's feed it something that helps it thrive. One plate at a time. One plate at a time. Simple, sustainable swaps for a healthier heart. Changing your diet can feel overwhelming, especially when you've spent decades building habits, traditions, and preferences. But healing doesn't happen in a day. It happens one plate at a time. You don't need to throw out your pantry or adopt a restrictive eating plan. You don't have to say goodbye to flavor or joy. What you need are simple swaps, little decisions that, over time, rebuild your arteries, lower your blood pressure, stabilize your energy, and help you move through each day with more strength and comfort. Let's walk through 5 practical changes you can start making this week. Each one is designed to be easy, affordable, and aligned with the way we live, especially in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. 1. Swap white bread, oatmeal, or brown rice. That morning toast might seem harmless, but as we discussed, white bread spikes your blood sugar and contributes to inflammation. So what's a better way to start your day? Oatmeal. Warm, comforting, and fiber-rich, oatmeal is a heart-healthy powerhouse. It slows digestion, reduces LDL cholesterol, and keeps you feeling full longer. Add cinnamon for blood sugar support, walnuts for healthy fats, or blueberries for antioxidants. Don't like oatmeal? Try brown rice instead of white at lunch or dinner. Brown rice contains the bran and germ, the parts full of magnesium, B vitamins, and fiber. Cook it with low-sodium broth and herbs, or mix with beans for added protein. And remember, the goal isn't to feel deprived. It's to nourish yourself in ways that leave you stronger, not heavier or foggier. 2. Replace processed meats, boiled eggs, or tofu. If sausage or ham used to be part of your daily plate, you're not alone. They're quick, salty, and satisfying. However, their high sodium, preservatives, and saturated fat make them one of the most dangerous foods for arterial health. Try this instead. Boiled eggs. They're protein-rich, satisfying, and free from preservatives. And the cholesterol in eggs doesn't affect your heart the way processed meats do. Pair them with sliced avocado or fresh veggies for a simple, complete breakfast. Or go for tofu, a versatile plant-based protein. Pan-fry it lightly in olive oil with garlic and turmeric, or toss it into soups and stews. It absorbs flavor well, is low in saturated fat, and is gentle on your digestive system. Pro tip: you don't have to give up meat entirely. Just reduce your intake of processed meats and favor fresh, lean meats or plant proteins when possible. 3. Replace cookies, a handful of nuts. Afternoon cravings are real, especially when energy dips around 3 or 4 p.m. For many people, that means reaching for a cookie or two. But cookies made with white flour, added sugars and hydrogenated oils create a short burst of energy followed by a crash, not to mention added inflammation. What your body really wants is sustainable fuel. Keep a small container of unsalted almonds, walnuts, or pistachios nearby. Just a handful, about 8 to 10 nuts, can curb hunger, provide omega-3 fatty acids, and give your brain a boost of natural energy. If you have nut allergies, try roasted chickpeas, pumpkin seeds, or sliced apples with peanut butter. These snacks aren't just healthier, They're also more satisfying because they give your body what it needs: protein, healthy fat, and fiber. 4. Swap juice, water, or tea. Many people think, but it's 100% juice, it's natural. Unfortunately, as we've discussed, juice without fiber acts just like soda inside your body, spiking your blood sugar and overworking your liver. So how do you stay hydrated and satisfied without sacrificing flavor? Water is always best, but if you want more taste, try iced herbal teas, peppermint, hibiscus, ginger. Green tea, rich in antioxidants. Barley tea or roasted rice tea for something warm and nutty. Cucumber or lemon-infused water. And when do you want fruit? Eat it. Don't drink it. A whole orange or a sliced pear offers vitamins, fiber, and satisfaction with none of the sugar overload. Hydration doesn't have to be boring. It can be flavorful, refreshing, and healing. 5. Replace fried chicken, grilled chicken. This is one of the hardest swaps for many people, and I understand why. Fried chicken brings back memories. It's crunchy, savory, and often tied to family dinners and celebrations. But it's also one of the biggest threats to your arteries. Fried foods are cooked in reused oils that become oxidized and toxic at high heat. These compounds damage blood vessels, raise LDL cholesterol, and increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. The good news? You can still have crunch, just without the oil. Try grilled or baked chicken. Season with rosemary, garlic, paprika, or lemon juice. Use an air fryer to get the crispy texture you crave without the grease. You can even bread it lightly with almond flour or crushed oats before baking for that golden finish. Your taste buds will adjust, and so will your body. Start small, stay consistent. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to begin. Pick one swap from the list above. Try it for 2 weeks. Pay attention to how your body responds. You might notice less bloating, steadier energy, better sleep, or easier digestion. Those are the signs of healing. Then add another. And another. This isn't a diet. It's a way of living, one plate at a time. Remember, every small change is a vote for your future. It's a choice to wake up with more strength, to play with your grandkids without pain, and to enjoy a walk in the park without needing to catch your breath. You don't need fancy supplements. You don't need strict rules. You just need real food, prepared with care, and chosen with love. The next time you sit down to eat, ask yourself gently, is this feeding my health or my habit? If you're willing to listen to your body, it will speak. If you're willing to start, even slowly, it will respond. Because healing doesn't happen with one big leap. It happens one plate at a time. Start small, change everything. A 2-week challenge to reclaim your health. When we talk about transforming our health, especially after the age of 65, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. You've lived a certain way for decades. You have favorite foods, routines, and comforts that feel like part of who you are. And when someone says, change your diet, it can sound like they're asking you to erase your lifestyle. But here's the truth. You don't have to change everything. You just need to start somewhere. Trying to overhaul everything at once often leads to frustration, burnout, or giving up entirely. That's why the most powerful health transformations I've seen in my 50-plus years of practice began with just one small decision. A choice so small that it almost seemed insignificant at the time. But it wasn't. Because when you change one thing, your body notices. Your mind notices. You feel a shift, a little more energy in the morning, a little less bloating after meals, a better night's sleep. And that one small shift becomes momentum. Momentum becomes confidence. And confidence becomes a completely new way of living. So today, I'm inviting you to take the first step, not with a long list of rules, but with something simple. The 2-week challenge. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Start with just one small change. Here's how it works. You pick one change from the list we discussed earlier. Just one. Maybe it's replacing your white toast at breakfast with a bowl of oatmeal. Swapping your afternoon cookie for a handful of almonds. Choosing water or green tea instead of juice. grilling chicken instead of frying it, or skipping deli meats and having a boiled egg with veggies instead. You don't have to give up everything else. You don't even have to think about the other habits yet. Just make one change, and stick with it for 14 days. Why 14 days? Because that's long enough to feel the difference, but short enough not to feel overwhelming. Your taste buds begin to reset. Your body starts to respond. You'll start to notice subtle but important shifts. You wake up feeling lighter. Your digestion improves. Your energy doesn't crash in the afternoon. You sleep more soundly at night. You feel more in control, not just of your meals, but of your health. And that one change becomes the foundation for the next. The 2-week challenge. What you might notice. Let me share a story. A patient of mine, Mr. Hoshino, age 70, once came to me after being told by another doctor that he needed to go on medication for his cholesterol. He wasn't ready for that path. I just want to try something natural first, he said. So we agreed on one simple change. He would replace his morning toast and jam with a bowl of oatmeal and berries. That's it. No other changes, just breakfast. For the first few days, he missed the toast. He said the oatmeal was bland and boring. But by the end of the first week, he noticed something surprising. He didn't feel hungry at 10 a.m. like he used to. By the end of the second week, he was sleeping more deeply and waking up refreshed. His cholesterol numbers hadn't changed dramatically yet, but he had changed. He felt empowered, encouraged, and he was ready to make a second change. 6 months later, he had swapped processed meats for tofu, replaced cookies with nuts, and was enjoying herbal teas instead of juice. His LDL had dropped, his weight had stabilized, and most importantly, he said, "I finally feel like I'm driving my health, not sitting in the back seat." Realistic advice. Don't change everything at once. If there's one message I hope you take from this, it's this: you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something. Too many people give up on improving their health because they think they have to follow a strict diet, count every calorie, or live without joy. That's not sustainable. That's not real life. Real life is messy. It's family dinners. It's the holidays. It's moments when you're too tired to cook and just want something fast. That's okay. What matters is what you do most of the time, not once in a while. So if you eat clean all week and then have a donut at your granddaughter's birthday party, don't beat yourself up. Enjoy the moment. And go back to your healthy habits the next morning. Progress, not perfection. That's the secret. Where to begin? Choose one today. Here are a few first-step ideas you can start tomorrow. Bowl with spoon oatmeal instead of white toast. Add cinnamon, berries, or walnuts. Egg boiled egg instead of ham or sausage. Simple and satisfying. Cup with straw water or tea instead of juice. Try lemon, mint, or cucumber slices. Green salad grilled chicken instead of fried. Use spices and herbs to add flavor. Peanuts, almonds, or walnuts instead of cookies. Keep them in a small container by your chair or in your bag. Choose the one that feels easiest, or the one that feels most important to you. And commit to it for 14 days. You don't need to be perfect. Just be consistent. Keep a little journal. Notice how your body feels. Notice your mood, your sleep, your digestion. You may be surprised at how quickly things begin to shift. You are not too old. It is not too late. Maybe you've been told it's just part of aging to feel tired, stiff, or heavy. But I can tell you, after treating thousands of patients, that's not always true. Your body, no matter your age, wants to heal. It is designed to repair itself when you remove what's harming it and give it the right support. And the best part? You don't need fancy supplements or expensive health foods. Just real, simple changes. One plate at a time. 1 cup of tea instead of juice. 1 bowl of oatmeal instead of toast. You still have time. You still have choices. And your next chapter can be stronger, lighter, and more vibrant than you ever thought possible. All it takes is one change. 2 weeks. And a little belief that yes, you can do this. Imagine this. 1 year from today, you wake up feeling lighter, and more energized. You stretch without stiffness. You walk up a flight of stairs without losing your breath. Your clothes fit more comfortably. Your doctor smiles at your lab results. And the best part? You didn't get there through a fad diet or by giving up all the foods you love. You did it by making one small change at a time, starting with just one plate, one choice, one commitment to yourself. Because healing isn't about perfection. It's about progress. And when you stop feeding your arteries the foods that hurt them and start nourishing your body with simple, healing alternatives, something powerful happens. You don't just live longer, you live better. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. The freedom to move, to travel, to play with your grandkids, to wake up each day knowing you're in control of your health, not a prisoner to it. So here's my final message to you. Start today. Just one change. Stick with it. Then make another. And by this time next year, you might not even recognize the new you in the best possible way. If this video speaks to you, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And before you go, leave a comment below. Backhand index pointing right, what's the one change you'll make this week? Your story isn't over. And the best chapters might just be ahead.